So Members is coming out in a few days, and I'm starting to think about clue scrolls. Are they actually the new money-making meta? The rewards from them can be quite substantial. So, from a hard clue, you might have a Robin Hood hat. From a medium clue, Ranger boots, Wizard boots. These are going to be best in slot items for a while, to be honest. So the demand for them will be fairly high, and as more cash comes streaming into the game from things like fletching and alking, people are going to want to spend that money on something. So I'm thinking clues are really something that stand out as somewhere where people can sink their money. Some of the rewards are very cosmetic. So you've got things like Cavaliers or Cavs, so black, tan, and brown, is it? And you've got things like berets, which are again cosmetic. Then you've got kind of the Rune G, Rune T items, the Zami, Saradomin, and Guthix items as well. And these are all kind of something that make a player stand out. So I think people will want those items. And the price, especially in the beginning, will therefore be quite high because they will be like a luxury item. Of course, over time, over the coming months, I guess as more of these stream into the game, it becomes less and less profitable. But if you were to focus on clue scrolls in the beginning, I think you would stand to gain a lot of money. And in those early days, it might be, outside of something like farming dragon med helms and dragon square shields, like potentially the best moneymaker in the game. So I thought I'd just look through the code and see what the most notable items are for each level of clue scroll. For the easy clue scroll, we've got black trimmed armor, so that includes trimmed and gold, and berets, so there's 3 colors of berets. There's a few other bits, but not very interesting stuff, to be honest. For medium clues, the most notable would be Wizard boots and Ranger boots, and also Addy trimmed armor. But other than that, there's not too much else. So for hard clues, we've got rune items, so that's just a basic reward, and that could be anything from rune armor like a kite shield, for example, would be very good reward, but also weapons like rune sword, etc. And we've got black dragon hide, rune trimmed armor and gold armor, and the rune god pieces, so like Saradomin, Zamorak, and Guthix. We've also got the Robin Hood hat and the Cavalier. There's a few other items in each category, but those are the most notable ones. But I guess in the hard tier is probably the most interesting. So you've got things like sharks, noted sharks and stuff like that. That also comes from them. So which monsters drop which clue? So looking through the code, for easy clues, we've got men, rogues, goblins, barbarians, and muggers. And for the medium clues, we've got paladins, jogers, bandit camp leaders, guards, and ice warriors. And for hard clues, we've got hellhounds, greater demons, and all the dragons, so green, blue, red, black, and even the king black dragon. And the drop rate for all levels of clues is 1 in 128, with one exception for some reason, which is the Joga, and that drops in 1 in 129, so slightly rarer for some reason from the Joga, but it is what it is. But you can think for the most part it's 1 in 128. So when it comes to farming clues, if you're interested in getting the most clues for your time, I think for each level it probably goes something like easy clues, you want to kill men. Now there's a nice house in north of Edgeville with a bunch of men in there. You could probably set up yourself up in there and get easy clues quite quickly. But also goblins in Goblin Village, barbarians in Barbarian Village, like these are all, there's plenty of monsters there. They're all low levels, so you should get a clue really fast. For medium clues, I think guards are a well-known meta at this stage. So anywhere there's guards, Varrock Palace, Falador Center, these would be an excellent source of medium clues. So for hard clues, I think the best shout would be hellhounds and greater demons, and especially if you've got a dwarf cannon. A dwarf cannon investment would be 750k. But I think that initial outlay for the cannon is worth it if you're thinking short to medium term in how much money you could make from clues if you're really serious about it. So definitely those two. Otherwise, green or blue dragons, I know a lot of people are going to be farming those in the early days, so they're likely to get clues anyway. But at the same time, I've heard so many people are going to be farming them, and therefore they're going to be quite busy. So I think if you can get that dwarf cannon and go to the other monsters, you've got a better chance of getting hard clues much faster. Something really important to note about clues in 2004 is you can only hold one clue scroll at a time, and this includes easy, medium and hard. So if I have an easy clue in my hand, I will not be able to pick up a hard clue. It won't even drop. So you need to be really careful with that. If you do get a clue, you should try complete it as fast as possible. And it's also really important to know that reward caskets almost act like clue scrolls. So if you have a reward casket in your inventory, you won't be able to find another clue until you open that. So make sure you open those as soon as possible. So for those of you coming from old school RuneScape, you're probably going to be really missing the RuneLite plugin for treasure trails. And for those that don't know, the plugin basically tells you exactly how to complete a clue. So we don't have that in 2004Scape, but what we do have is a massive archive of guides from 2004, 2005 on how to complete these clues. So although it might take a bit longer to complete them, the clues are also a bit simpler. There's just some types of clue just aren't a thing yet in 2004. So it should be relatively straightforward for you to complete them, but it will be a bit more of a challenge than you might be used to. If you can stick out and be patient, the rewards probably are going to be massive. I think personally, I'm going to focus on getting all my quests done during the first days of members, and that will get me the base skills and basically access to locations I'll need for the clue scrolls. And if I have enough money for that dwarf cannon, I think I'm going to make that investment just so I can farm those hard clues as fast as possible for the hopes of getting some, the God Armor, Robin Hood hat. Any of these things are going to be worth a lot of money. And that money is something we need for at least for me, to invest in my other skills. My goals are to keep climbing on the high scores. I'm never going to be number one. Number one is going to be very difficult to get to. But money helps to get further in the game, and that's what I need. So yeah, let me know what you think. Will clue scrolls be the new number one money-making method? Will they beat out farming dragon meds in those early days? Or is it something else? Is fletching actually going to be number one? Something pure and simple like fletching. If you've got access to logs and a knife and alking, you can make, a lot of money per hour, or close with magic longbows, like 1 million coins an hour. So I'll leave the links to the source code which show the drop tables for clue scrolls in the description below, and I'll also link to a couple of 2004 era guides which will be really helpful when you first tackle your clues. And anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please like, comment and subscribe. I really appreciate your support, and I'll see you in the next one.